The Producer is a podcast where everyone belongs. No matter your craft, we welcome you as a guest on this show. Hosted by Gabriel Ori and J.R. Johnson, the dynamic duo that brings forth a show that's fun, enlightening, and family-oriented. If you are interested in being part of the show, email us at timelessproductions1@gmail.com.
What's good, everybody? This is your girl, Kimberly Gunn, and I'm rocking the Timeless Sounds.
It's feeling so good right now. Feeling so good right now. Yeah, yeah.
Here, rocking up with Timeless Sounds, man.
It's okay. Go ahead and bounce back, man. You can live again. Go ahead and spread your wings. It's okay. Yeah. It's okay. When it come to the booth, I carry the truth. I'm praying for better, watching my enemies destroy. Life or death, but some I choose death and burn. Give me life, I'ma sacrifice to Christ's return. Keep my head above water, feet to the pavement. Life in the light so amazing, turn it on. Let's see what the future holds. More end zones here than the Super Bowl. Celebrating while you reach your goal. If they hating, it's okay. Tell them everything will be okay. Smile and embrace the hate, then return it with love. It's so amazing when you give it away. Hey, and keep your eyes to the sky. And though it get blurry, never lose vision even when you cry. Spread your wing, now it's time to fly. Whole earthly purpose is me the kingdoms of the world. He say, no, I'm gonna have the world, the earth, and the heavens gonna be mine. You know? Hold on. Wait a minute. All right. Look. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Bro.
Yo.
What's up, man? I had to cut that short.
No, I feel you. I'm glad you had it up like that. I'm just getting myself together.
Because I knew you were setting up and stuff.
Yeah, man. How you feeling? Let me turn this computer on.
Yeah. I'm good, man. I'm excited. We got our bro on. He's in the stage with us. Or the backstage right now getting set up. But you know, my day is good, man. How about yours?
It's been a little busy, but productive, you know?
Right. How's the mama and the little missus?
Bruh, that's why I'm running late.
Welcome to my world.
Man, I'm trying to put little one down.
Yeah.
I'm doing a whole bunch, trying to, just helping out the wife and everything like that.
Right.
But they both doing good, Can you hear me properly?
Yeah. How about me? Can you hear me good?
I hear you really good. I'm gonna
Okay.
kind of turn my mic up a little bit to match your level.
I know I got a deep voice and I talk low sometimes, so I'm not sure
Yeah.
how loud it is. I had to turn my headphones off because I thought it was low. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, I was watching something. Well, not watching. I saw a headline on Facebook about Jada Pinkett and Will Smith, and
Really?
it's something, and it made me ask the question. Well, the headline talked about her and her bed life with Will Smith, and my question is: should couples be opening up their bed life to the public like that? I'm nothing that got to do with with them, but
Yeah,
you
just
know what I'm saying?
that's a good question. And we can pose that to the audience as well as when Ron gets on. That's kind of like a relationship type question. Like, should you expose your bedroom life? Is that a public, place for discussion? Me personally, no. I mean,
Right.
I wouldn't do it personally. That's private,
Exactly.
something you want to leave private. My mom always gets on me. She get on me about like stuff that I think is like, oh, this is nothing. Like, don't put that out there. I'm like, oh, like it's okay. It's nothing that I would, cringe at later. But like me personally, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I just can't expose my family like that,
Yeah,
or even
same.
myself. Something, and then some things you don't want everybody to know every single thing about you, what you do, what time you get up, all that type stuff, especially your bedroom. Nah,
Yeah, and
I'm
and,
not.
and not only that, it just opened doors to many
Yeah,
nonsense, and the
yeah,
wrong person. A lot of bad stuff happens with that. And like you said, if you got a family, even if you don't have a family, still, you want to keep that sacred, because if you're married, and why open that door for someone else to entertain somebody else's mind about your spouse or
right.
what's not going on or whatever?
Not only that,
Mm,
think about this. As a male or as a female,
mm,
let's just say your life living. You wasn't a virgin when you got married, right?
right.
And so now you're exposing to the public, yeah, this is, we got no issues here. And then this is, and then somebody from the past are like, well, I did. You opening up the door
Right.
for opinions that you don't need. You don't need other people's opinions about that aspect.
Exactly.
You don't need that.
Exactly. Well, what's up, everybody? Y'all watching Ask a
Oh yeah,
Producer.
I forgot we was on.
I got my business partner Gabriel Laurie over to my wrong thing, to my left on my side, but to the right on the camera screen. And we're Timeless Sounds. And again, this is Ask a Producer. We got our brother comedian Ron on with us. He's backstage getting set up, and want to play a little clip for y'all so y'all can see who exactly is comedian Ron. So check it out.
Relationship, you will lose. Women are great at arguing. And for no extra charge, fellas, even when you win an argument, you still lose. Y'all looking stupid like, no, we won. Like, you never won, fellas. And the worst is getting into an argument with your girl in the car. You ever had that happen to you? It is the most uncomfortable moment ever. You want to jump out, but you can't because the doors are locked. I mean, you did everything right. You showed up on time. You finally got a button up on because she hate when you dress hip-hop. Like, you too grown to be having a dragon on your shirt, huh? How old are you to be having a dragon on your shirt, Cisco, huh? Rhinestones and a dragon, really? I don't like this shirt. And fellas, you accidentally say something stupid and you can't take it back, and she get pissed off at you and do that awkward stare out the window. You hear the ladies chuckling. It's some dudes over here that don't have a car. They don't know what's going on. And fellas, you got that thick, uncomfortable silence. You got to let the window down so the awkwardness can get out. Matter of fact, she turned so far to the right, her knees in the glove compartment. You're like, how you get your knees in the glove compartment? And right now, everything on the left side of her life is dead. Like, you could have jumped out 6 miles ago She would have never known because she hates you and everything that look like you. You ever see the look on your girl face when she is in the car pissed off? She mean business too. And fellas, you panic because there's nothing you can do. All your little nicknames, Boogie Bear, Sugar Booger, Goose, whatever you call her. I call my lady Goose, don't judge what I'm doing. She ignored because she's trying to fight the happy because she want to be happy but she can't because she got to prove it. You ever see the look on your girl? Like, you ever try to poke your girl side and make her like she try to fight it? You ever try to poke your girl side and make her laugh a little bit and she try to fight it? You ever see her try to fight it? Okay, any dudes in here like women before I finish the joke? Just one. Cool. With the hat. Okay, cool. All right. Sir, you know nothing? Put that up. Nobody texting you this time of night. Put that up.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Mr. Comedian Ron there, doing this thing, man. So we're gonna go ahead and bring him in. We won't waste no time. So drum roll if we got one.
We'll get one.
What's up, man?
Yo, y'all so hilarious, man. We'll get one.
What's up?
Waiting on the drum roll to come on Amazon. Like, yeah, it said 2-day shipping. Let's see.
Yeah, it's on order. It's on back order.
So funny. How y'all doing, man?
Man, all is well, man. How about yourself?
Man, I'm great, man. Thanks for having me back, and it's great to see y'all, man.
Hey, same here.
Same here, man. It says a lot, man. You're a man of your word. You came back. You said, "Hey,
I told y'all, man. Life be happening, bro. Outside is weird ever since COVID happened, man. Everything weird.
Right.
Hey, Ron.
Everything. Family, friends, outside, everything.
I was a little late tonight myself.
That's all. It's all good. I ain't gonna hold you against you.
You can now. He was jumping on you the last time.
Hey,
so
he didn't smile at all last time. He was like, "Yeah, we got him here, but anyway, it's time to go. So we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Thank you for joining us, Ron." Yeah. As soon as I came on, you stopped smiling. Smile just dropped. You like, hey. Anyway,
Hey, so for those who missed the last portion or section, we got this awesome, amazing brother. You know, Ron G is his name. You know, he hails from the great state of South Carolina.
Hey, see, baby. Metro.
Yeah. That's the hometown, home team. You know, he's from Columbia. We had him on for a short bit last time, and you know, we learned some things about. He's doing some awesome things out there in the LA area. He's a comedian, very funny. Please follow him, like, share, and just, you know, if you got questions like we do, go ahead and get your questions ready because, you know, we want to kind of jump right in. And the last time, Ron, I know we kind of stopped. We was tapping on like the relationship side of things. Yeah. And I know you're married. Can you tell us, you know, how long you've been married, and anything else you want to say about that before I get to the next question?
I am celebrating my 2-year wedding anniversary. Anniversary is in April, but 2 years in the game. We've been dating for 7, and I'm super blessed, bro. I think if I would have known, like, marriage is all about choosing the right person. If you choose the right person, like, yo, it's definitely office work. But when you choose the wrong person, it's construction work, and people that do construction work can't wait to tell you how terrible it is. But it's funny because I feel like I already knew my purpose before I met my wife, but it's kind of cool when you meet somebody and you realize y'all have a shared purpose. Because once I started doing the Q&A with Bay and my Couples Couch game show during quarantine, it turned into a whole nother thing. And now, like, I'm doing relationship panels, and people are asking me and my wife to be on panels talking about relationship stuff. And it's kind of like the stamp for it, man. It's one thing to give relationship advice in the car like people be doing online, but it's another thing to have your person next to you while you giving the advice. Because my lady, she gonna keep me honest and she ain't gonna let me lie. So it's kind of cool to have, you know, your relationship be the stamp of approval for what your passion is. You know what I'm saying?
Man, let me ask you a question. And this is,
go for it.
I would say for any couple, like, how does a person like you, with all the things you got going on, I know you're very productive in your life, and sometimes productivity means that your time is really kind of divided and split. And you know, some females, they're very needy, and you hit on a key point saying, you know, you met the right person and you kind of knew this was that person. But like, how does your wife view what you're doing? Obviously I know she supports it, but like, how did that come about? Like, how did you even meet her, and how did that whole thing come about?
So I think it's a man's responsibility to find out what your purpose is on this planet. My wife met me at the comedy club, so she knows this is what I do. This is how I eat. This is how I provide. Versus the guy who waits to their 40 and been working at the plant for 20 years, and now he like, yo, I'm about to start this R&B group at 40. It's hard to sell that to somebody who is not a dreamer, because I feel like all of us are dreamers. Us three, we're all dreamers to a certain sense, but you still got to provide for home, especially like depending on where you live at. But for me, LA being a dreamer is currency. This is how I eat. Like my relationships that I make out here, me doing comedy has turned into me becoming an actor, an Emmy winner. I do voiceovers, I do commercials, I do warm up for TV shows. I'm a writer, I'm a producer. Because I did one thing, it opened up doors for a whole bunch of other things. But depending on where you stay at, it's hard to explain the dream to a non-dreamer. You know what I'm saying? So for men, I feel like before you get married, if you're watching this and you considering getting married, don't get married until you figure out why you're on this planet. Even if you have an idea where you have a reference point, because the hard part about knowing your purpose is God don't give you all the details to your dream.
No,
He give you just enough to keep you fighting. Because if he told me everything I had to go through to be who I am right now, I probably would have ran and got scared and been just a hilarious school teacher stressing these kids out. You know what I'm saying? But again, like if I would have known what I had to go through to be who I am now, I probably would have chosen another path, because it's a lot. Emotionally, it's a lot. But again, he spoon feeds you enough to like keep you in the game and keep fighting for that thing, man. So I'm very grateful. But like my wife, she's a dreamer too, but even though she's a 9-to-5er, but she get it. Like she got a very dreamer mentality when it comes to finances. She has really big faith, and she like, baby, we gonna get a house soon. You're the best comedian ever. You about to take off. Like she just encourages me even when I'm feeling low. So it's hard to explain it to somebody who don't even know what dreaming is.
Man, you hit it on the bullseye, man. Because a man, God created us first, and when God put Adam in the garden, Adam was working before he pulled Eve out.
He had a very specific assignment too. God said, whatever you name the animals, that's what it is. And also
exactly.
For men, whatever you name or whatever you speak out of your mouth, words is spelling. It's casting the spell. It's saying what you're going to do. Like we're on this podcast and somebody was like, yo, we're going to have a podcast. This was a thought in somebody's head, but y'all brought it to life by speaking what it is. You know what I'm saying? But that we have the power to create the thing we want. For me, I wanted my house to be the safest, most gentle place on the planet. As a black man, you know how it is walking out this house. The amount of no's I hear in my career is unimaginable. But I told my wife, this is what I want my house to feel like. I'm responsible for setting the tone for that thing, but literally all the things that I want is set up because I spoke what I want. Even how me and my wife handle each other. So, like you said, I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you good. No, you good.
Ron, so just to let the audience know, Ron is saying some really deep stuff. He's saying it very casually, but I want to kind of wheel him back in just a little bit to expound a little bit more. So now you said basically you're talking about the power of what you say, the power of the tongue. Out of your mouth, you can speak life or death.
Words matter.
Words very much matters. Now tell me something, and we're still in relationships here. Is there a such thing as a perfect woman? Right. And I'm just saying woman in your case because you're a man.
Hilarious.
And obviously, yeah. Sometimes we gotta say that. But like, is there, because I talk to some brothers sometimes and they might pass on an actually good thing because maybe one of the things don't meet their quote or whatever like that. And they're like, nah, you know what? Nah, she got this and this and this wrong. I'm not gonna, go for that. What do you feel about that? This idea of a perfect male or a perfect man or a perfect woman for another person.
It sounds like fear and somebody's self-sabotaging. That's what it sounds like. Because the thing that men don't realize, and I say this on stage all the time too, is you'll never get the woman you say you want till you commit to her. There's a level of dopeness that a woman releases when she know that you're not going to share her secrets and her life with everybody else. But we don't get that until we commit. It's almost like y'all with y'all dream and doing a podcast. You can't kind of sort of do a podcast. You got to commit to it. You got to come up with a schedule.
Yeah.
You got to buy the equipment. You got to invest and buy the equipment. You have to plan out what each show is going to look like. And you have to discuss and find your rhythm once you start doing. You can't do none of that in your head.
No.
You can't work out the details in your head, which is what love and relationships look like. And I said, my wife was dope before I met her, but when I committed to her, she gave me a whole nother level of her that I never knew. And I said, man, we're not taught that. We just, men, particularly black men, we're great at chasing. We're awesome at pursuing, but we're terrible at sustaining.
Yeah.
Nobody teaches us how to sustain. Like nobody teaches us, once I get this woman, how do I keep her happy? How do I not bring my ego to the party but still be heard? How do I deal with depression? How do I not feel hurt at work and go home and still be loving to her? How do I tell her how I really feel? Like the feeling of like what I really tell my homeboys. How can I tell my wife what I need so I can get what I want? So I don't have to subcontract what I'm missing at the house because I still need to be loved. And this truth I have might run her off, but how do I have that conversation? Don't nobody teach us that stuff.
No, you're absolutely right. And it's like, how is it that I won't say how, but why is it that we as men have that problem of showing our emotions and our feelings when, you're married to someone? They need that woman needs to understand you more when you open up, but most men don't want to open up.
It's a few things. Well, one, we're taught. We're taught to be tough. We're taught as black men, like little boys, stop crying and be tough. Stop crying and figure it out. You got to be a little man. Like we taught that our entire life. Then we meet a woman and we got to turn on a switch that we ain't never used before. We got to find tools that we ain't never used before, which is be sensitive, be compassionate, and then also we're never taught how to be a lion and a lamb. Most dope men, we have to be a lion and a lamb. Outside the house, you got to be a lion all the time. But with your wife, you got to be a lion and a lamb. Or with your kids, you can't be lying all the time because you're going to teach them not to talk, which is why women have to do the same thing to a certain degree, where I have a statement on my show. I'll be like, yo, women, you teach a man how to lie to you. Because men, usually when it's time for us to settle down, we don't have a lot of safe spaces to share how we really feel. But as grown men, when we go out and do grown man life and come home and tell our lady our truth because she's our best friend and she snap on us, she just told us she can't handle the truth. Then what you do? That's right. Then what you do?
You stop.
She teaches you how to lie to her because the truth don't feel good. The truth feel like touching a hot stove. You're like, oh, hot, mommy, hot. You don't want to go back no more because you know it don't feel good. So they partake in that too. And a lot of times that comes from fear as well. But when you live in a household where you can't speak your truth, you literally become a prisoner in your house, and it doesn't feel good, especially when you're a person of personal growth and you learn stuff every day. And I tell a lot of my homies, man, the hardest part about marriage is learning how to grow in somebody's space. It's one thing to grow and you can be like, I got to go now and hang up the phone and go do your life and deal with your depression. But it's another thing when you're depressed and you got to provide and you got to be sweet and you got to explain how you feel when you don't even know how you feel when somebody's in your space and still requiring you to be the healthy version of you. That don't feel good.
Right.
Wow.
Right. And that's crazy. And relationships, are like that. It is a give and a take with it. I know with my wife, and God bless my wife. We just had a baby like a month ago.
Congrats, bro.
Oh man, thank you. And just watching her, become this person, this mother that she always dreamed about, that I knew that she could be. Now it's not easy all the time, but that's where that encouragement comes in. That's where that teamwork comes in. And that's where that safe space to be able to express, like you say, Ron, to one another, your truth. Now, it doesn't have to be true for everybody. It's just your truth. And you just need to have a safe space to be able to do that, So shout out to all the ladies out there. And Ron, you hit on something. You said, hey, the ladies participate a little bit by turning.
They make a house a home. If I don't feel comfortable in my own home, you're not gonna get the best version of me. If every time I come home and I gotta sit in my car for 20 minutes before I walk upstairs or go by the bar before I come home, that house is not a home. Their job is to cultivate a home to make us feel loved and want to come home. But we are responsible for the exterior and they're responsible for the interior.
Oh, that's dope.
That's dope. Yeah.
Exterior, interior. So how do you get because sometimes you have generational or cultural gaps. Like yesteryear, like our parents, it was a different thing then. The women back then, really they didn't do a lot of the things, because the man was considered the person that went out and got the bacon or whatever like that, and the woman place is in the home. But nowadays, a woman has her own job. She makes her own money. How do you deal like women who have money already and a guy who might not make as much as her? How would a guy approach a relationship like that if he has these stigmas in his head, or she does as well. This role playing type.
I'm about to get somebody in
Man.
trouble. I feel like women have been lied to. I feel like there's a specific agenda attached to women staying single, and there's so much money being made off single women, and it's not profitable. It's not profitable for women to be mothers be a spouse and a mother. It's profitable to be single. Like hot girl summers are very profitable to somebody. The tourist industry is very profitable. But a woman being a wife and a mother, that ain't profitable. It's almost like why they don't teach us how to be business owners in school.
Exactly.
They're not taught. They don't teach us that. They teach us how to get through it and be sheep, and you work for somebody for the rest of your life. They don't teach us how. When it would make way too much sense. Like I'm an accountant by trade, but I don't know how to do my own taxes. That's what college does to you. But I feel like to the guy who wants a woman and you want to get married and you're dealing with women who put their career first, that tells you what our priority is. Because women who are marriage minded, they'll let you know they're marriage minded. They let you know they want to do partnership, and you can't be independent and be married at the same time.
Exactly.
You can't be a team player and be independent. You got to pick one. And I get that career is a part of it, and you don't want a man to depend on the man. But I also believe that there's a certain part of a woman that they're not allowed to be the woman that they're supposed to be because the world teaches them to be tough. Women are not designed to be tough for a prolonged period of time because it makes their heart soft. Like their heart is soft on purpose so they can connect with God. But when your heart starts being hardened and you function like a man, there's no room for a man in your life. Like, how do you unpack independent when you've been independent for 35 years and you meet a guy who showed up with his heart and he's being the things that you want, and now you're qualifying his presence in your household because you make good money too. Like your money doesn't matter to a man who's providing. Do I have all the things? But my wife money is no good to me. I don't care about what she brings in the house. Like that's what she wants to do. But I also want to provide her with a life too, where she can do what she loves for a living. So when my career take off and I'm traveling, she can come with me. You have the freedom to do that right now. But if you're reminding me of your title and functioning like the supervisor or whatever your title is at work in the household, there's no place for me. And you remind a man every day, and eventually he'll be like, I don't feel love, which is why sometimes dudes will go for a woman who's an assistant, who will go for the woman who doesn't have the title, but she just loves him. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying like that woman respects him and shows him love and don't have to walk around, you know, bragging about who they are and how much money they make. Because when you have kids, like dope women who are marriage minded, they're actually happy taking care of their family, whatever that looks like. Not winning the bread, but like if the man is providing for everything, women are happy making sure they cultivate the household, making sure the kids are fed, making sure, you know, they bring whatever they bring to the table, but they're happy with that versus being responsible for 60 employees working 60 hours a week and somebody else got to raise your kids and you getting a piece of your husband and you reminding him that you're the boss. Like that ain't, I don't think
that's out of order.
That's out of order.
Yeah,
and that's not sustainable.
Yeah.
Most women can't have it all. A few women can have it all, but most women can't have it all.
You know, and I'm wondering, do they still teach home ec in school? Because I remember back when I was younger, they was teaching.
That was a trade. They don't do trades no more. Trades was put in to give Black people actually an opportunity, like to be a tradesman. You could be a welder, you could be a brick mason, you could be a carpenter, engineer. That was taught in school before, but they made sure they took that out of school because you didn't have to go to college to have a trade or a career. They took that out of there. Way too beneficial to the Black community.
Wow.
So y'all, this is Ask the Producer. Please share this video. We got Ron G with us. You know, we usually do this on Fridays, but the schedule worked out where we could do it today. So please share this video. So JR, we got a break coming up. After the break, Ron, I want to flip it because I know you've been talking about the women. Let's flip it a little bit on the men.
Let's do it.
And the question is going to be, what if you get that woman that you're saying and she meets all those criteria? She just wants this guy. She loves him for him. But she makes more money than him. And maybe she's further along in her career than he is, but he feels a little intimidated by that. When we come back from the break, I want you to expound on that just a little bit. Let's
do it.
Do So JR, let's go to a break real quick. It's 8 o'clock. It's Ask the Producer. Yeah.
Nice.
All right. So that was Ron G's. Now, Ron, can you tell us real quick about that upcoming film that you're a part of that we just played?
I got 2 films coming out. One is called Swipe Right. They didn't give us any information on it yet. And I got another one I shot with Machine Gun Kelly. Super dope film, which I think will be a really cool project. Can't wait to see the full project. And then also next month, I have a TV show coming out on the all-black streaming service called Partners in Rhyme. I am playing opposite MC Light. I'm playing her brother, and we shot 8 episodes, and it's a super dope family show, and I can't wait for y'all to see it.
Dope, man.
I can't wait either.
We can't wait to see it either, man.
No, it's gonna be great, bro.
So we here with Ron G, and we're talking about relationships tonight, y'all. Talking about relationships, and the question was posed, Ron. You know, I'll just repeat it. For men, you know, you got this woman, and this woman, she's phenomenal, right, in her career. She's slightly on a different level, I guess, than the guy, financial wise,
tax bracket
wise.
Yeah.
How does a guy deal with this woman without feeling intimidated or feeling like she's maybe aggressive or something like that?
Women require love and men require respect. So as long as she's being respectful about what she does and not bringing that to the argument about how much she makes, because most arguments you have in a relationship is either pride, ego, or fear, you know, and a man ego is probably the most fragile thing in the household. So as long as she ain't like, you know, pulling the big joker out on him every time he does something, they'll be fine. But also he got to remember not to bring his ego to the party, because if he does, he will always lose, because you can't do the pain Olympics with a woman, because they will always remind you that their pain is more important than yours, and you will lose, fellas.
Women are like incubators, man. They
Yeah,
don't,
boy, they hold that thing in.
they let it come in and spit it right there.
And they multiply it. Whatever you give them, they multiply it. You give them peace, they will give you a whole home. If you give them
There you
hell,
go.
Yeah,
they will
there you
give
go.
you, if you call them a bee, they will give you hell. They will multiply whatever you give them.
Yeah, man. So yeah, real dope, real dope. So Ron, your I was watching one of your little, I guess I'm calling it a skit.
Yeah.
One of your skits on IG today, and I was laughing because you named it like, hey, trying to stay committed.
Hilarious. Yeah.
And you were sitting there, and you and your homeboy was talking, and there was a Bible on the table, and you had all these women coming out, you know, half dressed and everything like that. You know, I know, especially in the field that, you know, entertainment field, let's just say, and in certain areas, you know, like the California, LA area and things like that, you have a lot of, I don't want to say temptation, but you have a lot of things like that that you're around.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Distractions.
Distractions that you're around. How do you navigate that? You know, especially you being married 2 years in your relationship with your wife, and you're around a lot of that type of things. How do you navigate that?
One is my wife is my friend, like legit, and I won't say we started out like that, because I know it's romantic to say, oh, my person is my best friend. Like, I don't think my wife was my best friend at first. Like, we had to learn to be like that, because I'm like, well, my best friend, we see a girl walk by with a big butt, we talking about it, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, if I can't be like that with you, then I'm like, no. But my wife, like, we be out, she'd be like, oh, she's cute, and I'm like, hey, she is kind of cute, you know what I'm saying? So I don't feel so restricted where I can't speak the way I speak, which is how I mentioned earlier. But also, I said my lady's my friend, and then she also gives me peace. And I say often that men, you don't find the woman you want until you value peace, because all of us have ran a red light on a headache because she's thick and cute, and you like, oh, she bad, but you forget that she's a headache. And then later on, you got to deal with it. Once you get sober, you like, oh man, this girl's, I don't want to deal with all this. You know what I'm saying? So, but my lady, I'm like, I don't want to mess up what we have. And it's just that simple. Like, I can't imagine lying to my wife. And, you know, when you mess up, you gotta, I'm a terrible liar. You know what I'm saying? And my memory's bad. So I don't want to have to deal with all that. But doing what I do, I'm not good at small talking. And if you're cute and I talk to you and you seem like a headache, I'm already turned off. And we live in a town where there's no more secrets. There used to be secrets a long time ago. You know, my granddad had a whole nother family. We ain't found out until after he died. You know what I'm saying? But now ain't no more secrets. And in LA, I'm like one person away from everybody. So I don't have the privacy to do half the stuff that most men do. So I just don't like headaches. And it keeps it simple.
Wow. How long did it take you to get to this level of trust, you know, with your wife? Because, you know, some ladies, you know, they don't play with that. You know, any other female is like a threat, you know, even if it's not even like
that. Can you hear that dog barking? Can you hear the dog barking?
I do.
Yeah, we hear it, but that's all right.
I'll mute.
It's all good.
I'll mute it. Go ahead.
How did you get to that level of trust? How long did it take? What did you do specifically to get to that level of trust? Because I think trust is very big in a relationship, especially a committed relationship. And if you don't have trust, then, you know, it's going to be hard to survive in a relationship like that. How'd you get to that level of trust with your wife?
Well, one is being proactive. I know a lot of my homies be like, well, let me see where this thing goes. Like, no, you gotta tell her what it is. I told my wife, I said, look, the way I feel about you, I don't want to share you with nobody. So we done. I got phone calls to make and I need you to make your phone calls too. And she's like, what? And I was like, yeah, we done. Like, we done. Like, you my person. And then also I said, you got to be proactive in cultivating an environment where you trust each other. Because with me, I love what I do. I love comedy. I could perform 7 days a week and be cool. But when I'm done, I always go straight home. I always go straight home, which builds trust. She know my wife, I don't go nowhere. I work and I come home. And I ain't always been like that because I like being out. But now it's like, I enjoy her company. I never not want to come home. I enjoy the peace that she gives me. And my wife checked me one day because I was going to work like 7 days a week because I love comedy. Like just hanging out in the comedy club as a comedian. That's how you work. That's how you get more work. She was like, I'm gonna need 1 day a week. She said, we gotta have date night. So now we have mandatory date night 1 day a week. And when I plan date night, I can see her response. When I actually plan the date night, she'd be so happy for at least the next 3-4 days. Like she's a happy person in general, but she'd be super happy knowing that I thought about her and I was very thoughtful about date night. And it could be as simple as going to get dessert, going to dinner. About a month ago, I took her to Vegas to go see Usher. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be small or it could be big what date night is. So all those ways are ways of building trust. And again, I bring my butt home. God's greatest gift to a married man is knowing when to go home.
That's right.
Some dudes don't know when to go home. You can feel it. You can feel when it's time to change. You're like, man, let me go ahead and go home. Most dudes don't know how to do that.
You said a key word too. You said cultivate. Can you explain a little bit what cultivate means to the audience?
Cultivate is creating an environment that you say you want. Like I mentioned earlier, God gave Adam the assignment of naming the animals in the garden. Literally, he gave him responsibility. Whatever you call the animal, that's what it will be. So for me, I wanted my house to be the safest place on the planet. I wanted to be the most peaceful place on the planet. So I had to be the person. When we have a disagreement, I had to turn the lion off and be a lamb, but still be firm and tell her, this is what I need. When we started dating, I told my wife, I said, look, you can't raise your voice at me. Listen, I know I messed up. Unless it's a felony, don't yell at me over no misdemeanor. You need to be kind to me because when you're yelling at me, you remind me of my childhood. And my pops used to drink or whatever. And I'm like, I don't like that feeling of being yelled at, and I don't like not feeling heard. So I'm never above correction. You can talk kindly to me, but don't yell at me on anything. And I made it my plan because I'm a clean comedian too. You know, I can go to work and not curse, but why do I need to come home and explode on my wife? So I'm responsible for creating the environment I said I want. And for men, we are responsible for the things we say we want. If we start out not telling our lady the truth, 5 years in, you can't start telling her the truth. How you start is how you end. So you are responsible for creating the environment you say you want. Because then I would test her. I would say stuff like, babe, this white girl tried to rape me at work. She'd be like, what? For real, I was at work one time and I was walking to my car and this white girl was like, come, I got a brand new Mercedes, come sit in it. I'm like, I'm good. She was like, no, you better come sit in my car. And she was being aggressive. She was like, sit in my car. And I sat in there. I was like, oh, this is nice. I'm ready to go. She was like, why you got to go? I said, look, I am ready to go. She's like, you ain't got to go. And flirting. I'm like, I got about her car. And I walked off. And she was mad at me. I'm like, I don't care. And I told my wife, I said, babe, this girl tried to snatch it from me, babe. She was like, you give us something? I was like, nah. But then I also learned that my lady, she has a very lighthearted sense of humor too. So she didn't take it personal.
Yeah.
She has a great sense of humor. We joke about really dark stuff and she like whipped me with it. And I'm like, I never had this before because I've dated somebody where if I hint at hanging out or talking to another woman in any kind of way, it was a code red. It went from 0 to 1,000. So to meet somebody who has a dope sense of humor, and again, she cultivated an environment where she allowed me to tell her the truth because we check in with each other. The thing about it too, my teacher, he always tell me, he said, when people cheat, there's a perceived cheater, and then there's a cheater who participated as well. You both cheat on each other. Literally, in order to cheat, you need resources and time. So if y'all not checking in with each other every day,
that's right,
and you're just happy for him not to be in your space so you can have peace because you don't want to deal with his mouth, you're creating an environment for him to do what he got to do, what he want to do. Versus every day y'all come home and check on each other. For me as a black man, when my lady put her legs on me and we have pillow talk and we be in the bed talking, that's my reset button for life. That's my reset button where I feel like the world is good. I can make it another day. But we check in with each other every day. We like, how's your heart? How you feeling? Is there anything I can do differently that, you know, like once a week, we'll check in with each other and just do a temperature check and see how you're doing. A lot of people don't do that. They enjoy the silence and the peace and they think that's okay. And I said, you have the perceived cheater and you got the person who participated in the situation. Not saying it's your fault, but you created an environment to allow them to cheat because you're not checking in.
Wow.
So you said something about men when they start off the lie and then 5 years later, they want to tell the truth. Well, it's too late now. You done built this whole lie for 5 years now. How are you going to turn this around? So it's like, how do you tell a brother who, because normally it is a lie, when you don't really tell your spouse how you feel. You wait 10 years later to really start talking about how you feel, and then all of a sudden, you know, you can't get your marriage together. What do you tell that brother? Like, well, no, not that brother, the person who is looking to get married or something.
You play like you practice. How you start is how you end. If you show her that she has all the power and you can't tell her nothing, and you, instead of, because most of us know a man in our family who've been married for a long time, but they be quiet.
I do.
Yeah.
Wife, big personality, and they just be quiet because they just like, hey, as long as she happy, I'm good. That ain't
good.
That's surviving.
You don't want to.
That's a marriage that survives. That ain't real relationship.
No.
And again, that's a long time ago. Long time ago, you know, happy wife, happy life. And I'm like, I don't
like
subscribe to that.
Yeah,
I feel like
neither.
You both should be dope
Everybody
partners,
should
and both people should be happy. Because I don't want to survive my marriage. I want to be a part of it and actively watch it grow. I want to, but we are like, again, men, some dudes ain't never been fathered before. Some dudes don't know what it's like to put your foot down. I remember when I learned how to not be swayed by a woman's tears. Because most of my life, I feel like I grew up being a people pleaser, especially with women. The women I loved, I would, what'd you say?
I said, oh, you cold-hearted.
Right. I used to be a fixer, like by nature, like depending on how you grew up in your childhood.
Yeah.
I was always mama little man, and it was always chaos in my household. And I'm like, well, if I don't fix it, it'll fall apart. I'm a kid trying to process like an adult. I'm like, I got to fix it. So when I started dating, I dated projects. I always dated women that I had to fix. And for me, when I'm dating projects, I don't have to fix myself. I don't have to work on myself. And I remember dating a girl, you know, my first time being engaged, man, I lost my job. Literally the whole time I was in Atlanta, I lost my job. And this girl I was dating wanted to plan a wedding. And she'd be like, let's go look at fabric. I'm like, bro, I didn't even eat that day. But I was too much of a punk not to tell her, nah, we're not doing this. So I went along with it. I'm looking at fabric and my stomach growling. I ate grits like 3 meals a day because I didn't have a job, but I was also not man enough to say, look, we're not doing this. You know what I'm saying? But then when I finally figured it out, when she started crying, I'm like, look, you can cry if you want to, but this ain't what we're doing. I'm responsible for you. So if I you can't control what you create. If you got to beg a woman or a man to go to church and they start going to church, they only going because of you. If you got to beg them to get a job, you got to fill out the application, you got to drive them to the interview and get them a job. They only getting the job because that's what you created. But if God touched their heart and God inspires them to be productive, go to church, whatever the thing is, God can sustain it. But we try to be God all the time. And I always have this phrase, sometimes you got to let God do his thing. Sometimes you got to let the thing fall apart. If you're dating somebody and you got to push them to love you and have conversation and all this, you're creating something that you got to sustain. And God is a very jealous God, and he'll take his hand off your relationship. And I had to learn that the hard way. That's why I said I don't care about tears. My wife can cry right now. If it's something that we can't afford to do and she started crying, I'm like, you can cry if you want to, but this is what it is. I had to learn that. That's stuff that daddy's supposed to teach you, but he don't teach you that. Because we grew up in households where we're around solid men because women are very strong creatures. Women can be very overbearing creatures. You know what I'm saying? And being in the household with that type of woman, even if you're the boy, you realize men don't have a voice.
Wow.
And the difference that I take with cultivation is the difference between a garden and bush, just woods, just something, because a garden is on purpose, kind of like manicured, kind of built up, and bush is just bush. it's just sticking up, and that's
no maintenance.
That's important in a relationship. Ron, can you remember? You said women are very powerful, very strong creatures. Is there anything that you can say you learned from a woman? Or let me rephrase that. What's the most memorable thing that you could say that you learned from a woman?
Probably my mom. Watching my mom handle my dad. Because I'd be going home for a weekend and be like, how do you deal with this fool? And then my mom lived with him, and she is just the most gracious creature I've ever seen. And I'm like, watching her navigate her feelings and protect her light, but know when to speak to my dad a certain kind of way, but also be quiet when she knows she can't get the best version of him. That's something I feel like my parents modeled. Also, watching my parents argue and sleep in the same bed, I'm like, oh, you can make it. Because some people haven't seen their parents argue. So watching a woman talk down to a man in public, it's an interesting thing. In public, yeah, because once you say certain things, you can't take it back.
Yeah.
I know people I'm close to watching their woman emasculate them in public.
Woo, don't do that.
And they're still together. The guy's become silent. And he's a whole other person with me than he is with her. Watching those dynamics, I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? But my mom taught me how to like keep your dignity and always stand at your full height and knowing how to maneuver hard conversations, even when it's unpopular. It's super dope to watch. Like my mom, she's a freaking superhero.
And you say, go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Speaking of public, before we started the show, we was talking about Jada Pinkett and Will Smith.
You gonna make me talk about it?
We gotta at least bring it up.
Because she seems like she's opened the door to their privacy, and that's, to me, that's community, that's public too. I don't think that's right. What do you? Because now it seems as though Will is. I mean, I don't know what's going on there, but it seems like he's nowhere to be found. I mean, I understand he's working and doing this thing like that, but it seems as though like.
I'll mind. I got you. I'll mind my words, but I would just say that when you discuss us issues in public, you create mistrust. Because sometimes it's stuff you need to go to your person about and not make it a public forum, social media thing. It's like having an argument with your girl and she like, hey, Facebook family, hey, Instagram family, just want to let you know that I'll be taking a sabbatical from Instagram because I'm working on my self-love and blah, blah, blah. Like, man, just get off. Let's talk. Let's go to therapy. Let's figure this thing out. You know what I'm saying? So you literally create mistrust when you add a third party to your issues. And I feel like you should definitely discuss it with your person before you even like if y'all having the conversation at the red table and then it comes up, I get it. But if ain't no red table and we just talking to a third party when you're already a thing, like privacy is very important. Like I mentioned, a man's pride and ego is the most fragile thing in the household. And when you violate that, it's really hard to get us back.
And
it's really hard.
Sometimes that privacy, it doesn't have to be like, social media or whatever like that.
Family. Tell your family.
You go into your mother, which is my mother-in-law, about our issues.
Yeah.
That might create another issue.
That's the committee. And the crazy part is the committee don't forgive you.
No, they don't.
Like women will get back with the guy and their friends and family still hate you and you don't even know it. Because they don't tell them the good part. They don't celebrate. They cape up for the crazy, but they don't celebrate the good stuff. All the good stuff you did, that don't matter. But you heard her one time. That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
That's why you got to protect your person and make sure y'all literally become one and not still be. Yeah, because your family and your single friends gonna keep you single. Yeah, ladies, I said it. Your family and your single friends gonna keep you single.
All the
yeah.
All your family. Yep. And never ask relationship advice from a woman who ain't never been in love before. Because real love is learning how to stay when it don't feel good. And I ain't talking about abuse. Learning how to stay past your feelings, your fears, and your ego. Because everybody got their own way of doing things. We all got generational trauma. And sometimes you got to find out why people do what they do. But if you leave before that and you bragging about your cutoff game strong, your cutoff game probably strong because you don't want to deal with yourself. Which is why it's easier to leave and self-sabotage than it is to be an adult and have a conversation and say the things you need to say. Anyway, I yield my time back to the group. Go ahead.
You don't want to deal with the real truth, which is yourself.
No, the real truth is you might be a terrible decision maker. Like every dude you date is terrible, and all men are bad. It's just the ones you date. And if you see all the signs of crazy, he'd live with his mama. He eat the value mirror every day. He ain't got no job. And you get pregnant by him, but now you calling him an F-boy? How did this man lead you on and he ain't got no job? No, how did this man lead you on and he ain't got no car? He can't even get there. How can he lead you somewhere if he ain't got no car? You got the car, but you mad at him.
Relationships does get a little weird and crazy. Ron, how do you define love? What did you define that as?
Love is commitment and duty. There's a level of love where you just feel like, oh my God, I love them. But then there's another level, which is real love that comes along with a commitment after you see what you're really dealing with. Because
you see what you're really dealing with.
Yeah, because like ignorant love is not love.
Yeah.
Like saying I love you costs you nothing, but real love costs you something. When you find out somebody's really depressed, when you find out people have childhood trauma and you decide to stay, that's love. It's hard to explain that to somebody who ain't never like on this side of love. It's hard to explain this side of love once you've been married.
It's an action.
It's it's literally a commitment where you depressed, you are not getting your needs met, and you still got to show up like everything is okay. That's the commitment. That's what love is. Love ain't that cute, warm and fuzzy, because sometimes you won't feel warm and fuzzy. I remember when I was married for like 6 months and I stopped feeling the warm and fuzzy. I was scared because I never been in anything long enough to experience this thing. I was like, do I not love my wife? Do I not love her? And what I learned was when I start feeling like that, that's when I try to do more to make her happy. And then it would make me check back in once I start making it about me and start loving on her and being more kind and sweet and romantic with her. It made me feel more alive versus like making it about me, if that makes any sense at all. But I had to experience that. I never experienced that before, and it was scary. I was like, do I not love her? Because I thought love was rainbow and glitter and sunshine. That ain't real love. Real love is the grind. Like you mentioned, you got a little one, and you got to make sure she got to take a nap, and you already tired, and you got to pull up, make sure you watch your little one too, and make sure she eat too, because she been taking care of the little one, ain't had time. Like that's the grind. That's what love is. Love is saying the things you need to say to get the love that you need, and letting your people go through their stuff, letting your woman go through her funk and her postpartum, let her go through that, but still loving her and be kind because you know she's going through something she can't control.
Yeah. This what I learned about love from the Bible. love is packed with certain ingredients. You got the phileo love, that's brotherly love.
Mhm.
Then you have the love for your spouse. Forgot what that one is called. Then you have your love for your children, your family. It's
Mhm.
all packed up in with different.
Agape.
Yeah, agape. There you go. It's all packed up in and
Agape.
it's something that you have to put into action because it's not a feeling. Because
It's a verb.
you can feel like you love somebody today, but then let them do something to you like in the next 5 minutes. You're gonna cut
See
them
that
off or
change.
do something. You know what I'm saying? So it's when you really respect, have the kindness for somebody, and you want to see that person progress or get better at whatever it is that they're, do better in life.
Absolutely.
So-
Love is a verb. And then also they mentioned in the Bible too, which is pretty interesting. There's many ways that God could have described marriage, but he literally said Adam and Eve were naked and not ashamed.
Mm.
As simple as that. They were naked, not ashamed. And that's what real love looked like, where I am naked and I am not ashamed of my nakedness around you. And it's hard to be like that. That's all I was mentioning. If you walk around your household and you got leaves on, it ain't real love. You got these leaves, it's your ego, it's your fear, it's your trauma, it's your I don't want you to hurt me like the last person did. Your leaves are I'm gonna be super critical of you so I don't have to deal with myself. Like all those are leaves, and leaves are not designed to cover people, which is why there was a need for a savior, because something had to die in order to cover them permanently.
Man, so true.
Dope. Amen. So in the last few minutes that we got here, Ron, I know the last time
Already? Just playing.
We know that you're involved in a lot of things. And
Yep.
can you just for me real quick go back through all the list of things that you've done and the things that you got coming up, so our audience can notice again?
Hilarious. I'll give you the bullet points. I've done some cool stuff. I was a finalist on Last Comic Standing. I was on HBO's Insecure. I was Sweetie. I was Kelly's boo. I'm an Emmy Award winner. I was on the show Punked on BET. I've done so much cool stuff, man. NBC Stand Up for Diversity. I was on Bill Bellamy's Who's Got It's comedian Ron G for Instagram, comedian RONG. Bill Bellamy's Who's Got Jokes finalist. And I got a movie coming out, a TV show again called Partners in Rhyme, which air on the All Black Network, ALBLK, All Black streaming service. Partners in Rhyme with myself and MC Light, which airs in November.
Man, this man has a lot of things going on. And again, I want you guys to, just follow him, Comedian Ron G on Instagram, comedianrong@gmail.com. If you want to reach out to him, this brother is going places, and we love, and that's why we call this Ask a Producer. He's a producer, comedian and everything else that he has going on. He's a producer. Everybody's a producer of something. And it's important that you find what that something is, that purpose of why you're here. So, JR, you got any last words?
Man, Ron, thank you so much for blessing us, man. You made some good points. Hopefully somebody that was watching, gather something from what we talked about today. And y'all stay tuned, man. He's one of the stars that you need
Hilarious.
to look up to.
I appreciate it, man. How much time we got? We got a time limit?
You good.
Okay, cool. So I'm glad we're actually having this conversation. Full transparency. I'm going through something right now, and I don't know what it is, but it's interesting. And I'm glad that I feel like we were supposed to have this moment as opposed to the last time. Because on stage, I'm becoming somebody that I've never seen before. Like the stuff we're talking, like this relationships is my jam. But on stage, I'm becoming this person with a little bit of orange juice on it, which makes you laugh, but also like, whoa, that was kind of heavy. And I've never been that person before because I've made my money being happy, bubbly Ron that, what I'm saying? Like good guy. And now I'm becoming something different. So I wanted to say this to document like, yo, it's crazy to watch it happen and watch me. I've made my money by being the guy I've been all this time, but now somebody new is happening. And it's crazy to watch it like come to life. It's scary and it's weird, but it's also, I feel like the growth process when you graduate from where you are, if that makes sense. Like both of you are dope at hosting, but then when you've done it enough and this craft becomes a part of your skin, there's another level that comes along where you're going to be uncomfortable where you at. You're going to be uncomfortable with the normal part of you that's going to like scream every day. Like I really felt like I was driving home to do this interview and I felt like I was about to jump out my skin because there's another person inside of me ready to come out and like it's a part of me as an artist that I've never seen before. And it's crazy because I think even because of this world we live in, like COVID, nothing is the same.
Right.
Everything that got me to this point won't take me where I'm going. From how I was with my wife, how I am with my craft, how I am like now I got to perform via Zoom. I got to learn how to pivot. I got to learn how to perform in this environment where everybody's super sensitive. You watch in relationship stuff, everybody's like on the edge and protect themselves mode. Ain't nobody doing vulnerability. Watching people run somebody over because they like didn't want to give them their phone number. Like, yo, when did this start happening? Like people going through stuff, like literally mentally ill. So I feel like I'm evolving with what's happening, and it doesn't feel good, but I also feel like it's necessary and the medicine that's needed for where we're going.
I'm glad that you are unpeeling and becoming yourself on our podcast. It's a beautiful thing to see, because what you're doing right now is what the Bible calls become. That's what God told, hey, become, right? That's all he basically told us. Become who I hid in you to become. So the you that God wanted from you is really starting to come out. And I'm elated to even hear you say that, and to see this up close. Man, it's a beautiful thing, man.
It's weird. I thought I was dope before. And now it's like I'm about to power up, and it's a weird.
It's a level up, baby.
Yeah.
But also too, y'all part of that. Like literally, you have a platform to help people become the better version of themselves. How for them to produce a better version of who they are, because it's almost like having a personal trainer. But God is my personal trainer. He making me do. I'm not allowed to be comfortable. It is so weird. Some people can just cruise and sit in the cubicle all day and be happy. I'm not allowed to like have an attitude with my wife. I'm not allowed to have a bad day and not go on stage. I'm not allowed to have an attitude with people because I'm responsible for so many people. Like even what I'm doing with this relationship thing, that's a part of my legacy. So I'm not allowed to mess up, because literally if I mess up with my wife, I'm messing up my entire legacy. And I don't know if I can personally handle bouncing back from that. Like Tiger Woods.
Yeah. Wow.
Tiger Woods has not been the same since that thing happened, whatever that was. But also that was undealt with personal growth. That was a part that when you're good at one thing, people celebrate that thing, but you're suffering in silence on a personal level. You're not able to talk. I told my wife, I said, baby, I'm going through something really weird. And she like supported me. She's like, baby, maybe this is what needed. Maybe you're supposed to graduate and it's not supposed to be comfortable. Maybe this is stopping you from becoming who you're supposed to become because you ain't got to this level yet. This was necessary. And I was like, she's helping me make it all make sense.
And that's what a good woman does, man. She can help, because women come packaged with so much intuition, so much discernment. They can help navigate what us as men go through on a day-to-day basis. And it's so crazy when you have a husband and a wife flowing, the synergy there that's created. It's a beautiful thing, man. And that's why I'm so pro marriage and relationships in that regard between a male and female, because when you get two that comes together as one in that way, it's so beautiful, man. It's
absolutely great.
It's like an explosion. When you put two firecrackers together to work together, you come this bomb, boom.
Yeah.
And so but to you, man, I'll be keeping you lifted, man, because I think God is moving you in a direction where he wants you to go. And oftentimes when we walk in faith, it's like, okay, what in the world is going on here? How is this happening? What are you doing, God? But oftentimes we're being used by him, which is a good thing, versus being used by Satan. And, but I think he got you where he wants you to be, and you're going to make an impact on people. And
I appreciate that, man.
There's not a lot of people. I don't see a lot of comedians like yourself. That's clean, clean comedians doing the right thing, something positive to make a difference in this world. It's all about trying to make that hustle, make that money, which of course it's your work, it's your job, but also there are a lot of people that are hurting. Like you said, there's people out there doing stupid stuff, killing each other, just running around the streets doing, crazy things. And where are the people that can be a light to bring these folks back to see that God is real?
Bro, my heart is literally sick. I've only been married for 2 years, and I watched 5 divorces in 2 years. Like we had a bunch of like married friends, and watching my friends go through divorce, I'm like, something has to happen. Like so I can complain about it, but I want to create something really dope. And I'm watching God take me and my wife to another level. We start doing Q&A during quarantine and doing these videos, relationship videos, and watching what that turned into. Where I'm out in public, people like, man, I love the videos you're doing with your wife, because everybody tell you should get married. Everybody like, church people, you got to get married. You got to get married. Don't burn with lust or whatever. Like, but they don't tell you how to get it once you got it.
No,
they don't tell you how to deal with childhood trauma. They don't tell you how to deal with somebody with sexual abuse. They don't tell you how to deal with somebody who's used to being cheated on. They don't tell you how to maintain and show up when you ain't getting your need met. Nobody tell you this stuff. You got to figure it out. So me and my wife, we had a platform. We talked about all our ugly in front of everybody on a social media platform. And it was funny. It was enlightening. It was a cool reminder for each other, because it's one thing to love each other, but when you say out loud why you fell for somebody and why you chose somebody, it's a reminder like, oh, like, wow, like I do love you. Like this is intentional. Like God was very specific and intentional, and this was a divine moment. I was supposed to meet you. You know what I'm saying?
Ron, do you have any children?
I don't. Working on it. I'm an active shooter right now.
Keep shooting, buddy.
I'm an active shooter right now.
Keep
I'm
shooting.
locked and loaded.
Keep loaded and shoot.
Yeah, I just put the scope on. Like,
just go. Oh boy,
I'm an active shooter.
I was gonna say everything you're doing right now, man, and who you are becoming. Don't only do it for yourself. Do it for your unborn kids, right? Because they one day they're gonna see this. They're gonna see all this. They're gonna see the evolution of their father, and even other children. Because I feel like you saying, JR, this world is crazy, right? We have a lot of young people that don't have a clue. I mean, they got everything, handed to them, but they don't have what's the word I'm looking for? They're ignorant.
Yeah.
They're ignorant to everything that's really going on. And so, do it for your kids, man. I'm really excited for you, for your wife, for where God has taken your whole ministry. It is a ministry, and I don't mean that in any type of religious way, but it is a ministry of what you're doing. And like JR said, there's very few comedians like yourself that stands on integrity like that. And so usually when you feel uncomfortable doing something, you're not supposed to be there, you're in the right spot. That's when God puts his hand on something, it usually feels uncomfortable for us, because his place where he wants you is way bigger than you could even think or imagine. So man, take that mantle and run with it.
Bro. I feel like it's bigger than comedy too. It's so funny. I was talking to my homie, and he was telling me about his 18-year-old son, and he was talking about love. And do you know that this generation has no reference point for love? Like, we 90s babies. We grew up with R&B and like the word love in our music.
Yeah.
We grew up watching TV shows where Steve Urkel was chasing Laura, like Fresh Prince. Like, you saw love on TV, but now it's so not common. Unless your parents love each other, where would you see love?
Right.
That is so true.
Like, where would you, as a young person, your music, there's love nowhere in the music, like nowhere. You don't even hear the word love nowhere in the, unless you love some part of the bedroom action, but there's no, the word love and pursuing and courting a woman, there's no chase in any of the music. So where's a reference point for love for this generation?
That becomes a problem, right? And every business is formed from problems. And so the one who solves the problem becomes the employer. So like you're saying, where is love? And that's why I asked you earlier, how do you define love? And it's really not, that question and your response is really not for us. It's for the other generation. It's for that generation coming up. And like you said, there's no reference point for love. And that's a serious thing, because now we're producing what is being produced now is something unlike we never seen. And that's like no remorse, no anything, no feeling, nothing.
This it's like this whole pandemic thing kind of like switched a lot of stuff around, and it's opening doors for those who are for real about their walk with Christ. And no shade to anyone, but I feel like this pandemic has been a blessing, even though it's been devastating for a lot of families. But I know on my side of my family, it's been a blessing on our end, and I think that of course, God does things differently than how we do things, because Scripture says His ways are not our ways, and when we used to things being a certain way, and it changes, it really does make us nervous, and so God has to shake us up and get us out of the comfort zone so that we can do what we're supposed to do in Him. And you're in the right spot, man.
I appreciate it, bro.
I'm glad you accepted the invite, because I was just throwing it out there. We'll see if he'll retire, because I sent out text to a whole bunch of people. A lot of actors and people that's out there doing big
that made
things.
me feel good. I sent that to a bunch of people. You was the only person that replied. That made me feel great. I sent it out to 40,000 people, man. You was the only sucker that replied, but it's all good. Thank you for signing.
You're the real one. That's what it is.
You're the real one. Yeah. Nah, dope, man. Thank you for having me too, man. I really appreciate y'all having this platform, and y'all own to something, man. Like the fact that y'all created a platform to again help people level up, help people graduate and figure that thing out. Like super cool, man. And y'all energy is dope too. I feel like y'all just too chill. I'm like, I don't know if they sleepy or need nap time, but both of y'all like, hey man,
we be up 5 o'clock in the morning.
We excited,
Ron, before I had my kid, I was super juiced.
Yeah, I heard,
bro. Oh my God, I'm sleep deprived.
I heard the first 6 months be trash, bro.
Yeah,
bro, I'm on year number 2.
I'm on month.
I'm on year number 2.
Huh?
Oh, sorry. I'm on year number 2, and he's still been jumping up and
really
in our bed. Yeah.
Ooh.
4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, my battery's dying.
Hilarious.
So,
I guess that's a good way to end the show.
My battery.
Just know, once you have them chillings, like we said down here, well, them churns. It's
cheering.
It's a fun thing, but it's work. But it does take away your energy and time. So, but yeah.
All good, bro. That's what it is.
Yeah, man.
On that note, guys, we thank you for.
I can't even see his face. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry.
Well, Jared, go ahead.
With the model photo, what you looking at, fam? You see a roach on the ground? What is that?
Yeah, man.
His camera lens died.
The lady, she was sitting right there. I was like, girl.
Hey, that was the day you made your kid. Sitting there in that chair, looking all good, girl. Let me take this hat off.
Actually, he has a project out, man. That's one of that's not on the album cover, is it?
That's not the album.
That's the album cover. Yeah, it is.
That's the Love album cover.
That's the mixtape cover. The R&B gospel, the R&B gospel album mixtape.
Oh,
yeah, it looks like that, but the music is a little different,
Yeah, it's so funny. R&B gospel album coming down to the altar. Come on down to the altar, girl.
Hey, Jared, go ahead and close us out, man, because I can't get no other battery right now.
All right, but man, Ron, man, thank you so much, bro.
Appreciate you,
man. Hopefully, this is not the end. We can stay connected, and possibly do some work. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I
can't wait, bro.
The star got to keep moving and doing it.
I appreciate it, bro.
So
thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thank you guys for watching. This is Ask a Producer again. Ron, information that was below. I'll also put it back in the comments. And again, thank you guys for watching. This is Ask a Producer. I'm JR. That's my business partner, Gabriel Ori. And of course, you can see at the bottom, that's comedian Ron G. Y'all be blessed. Thanks again for watching. Y'all have a wonderful night.
Yeah.
Later.
Hey.
And the ending shall come now.